On a freezing night in 1969, a police dispatcher's phone rang. The voice on the other end didn't just confess to a brutal murder. He gave the exact location, named the weapon, and then whispered a promise.
She's not the first, and she will not be the last.
He promised it was only the beginning. For the next 50 years, this phantom would hold the entire United States hostage. This is the untamed madness of the Zodiac. At the heart of the Zodiac case lies a singular, haunting image, a simple circle intersected by a crosshair. This wasn't just a mark of violence. It was a branding tool, a psychological weapon designed to transform an anonymous killer into a terrifying persona. By signing his letters with this crosshair, he demanded recognition, forcing the media and the public to play a part in his twisted game of infamy. This strategy shifted the investigation from simple crime solving to a public spectacle, trapping the nation in a cycle of constant, agonizing anticipation. It began in the dark gravel pullouts, teenagers targeted in their cars, quick, cold, and cowardly. By September of 1969, the Zodiac wanted his victims to look him in the eyes. At Lake Berryessa, in broad daylight, he approached a young couple wearing a bizarre, handmade black executioner's hood, stitched with his signature crosshair symbol. Before leaving, the killer walked over to the victim's car. Using a black marker, he wrote the dates of his crimes directly onto the door. It was a chilling display of arrogance. He was cataloging his victims like trophies. This transition from hidden killer to public spectacle signaled his desire to be recognized as a director of his own dark, twisted play. Then came October. The killer changed his pattern entirely. He entered San Francisco, hailed a cab driven by 29-year-old Paul Stein, and executed him in a quiet residential neighborhood. The murder in an urban residential area was a calculated shift. The Zodiac was no longer targeting isolated lovers' lanes. He was bringing the terror into the heart of the city. This signaled his desire to be recognized as a director of his own dark, twisted play, forcing the world to bear witness to his actions in the public eye. The police initially believed the taxi cab murder was a simple robbery. That belief shattered when a blood-stained piece of the driver's shirt arrived in the mail at the San Francisco Chronicle. This was a calculated act. By providing proof of his crime, the killer forced the media into his service. He became a director, using the front pages to amplify his terror. He demanded his cryptic letters be printed on the front pages, threatening further slaughter if the editors refused. The city was no longer just dealing with a murderer. They were trapped in a public hostage situation. The killer had successfully hijacked the narrative, forcing the public and police to dance to his rhythm. His written war had begun, and the city was his unwilling audience. He wasn't just a murderer anymore. He was a director, controlling the evening news. And inside those pages were his ciphers. The Zodiac taunted authorities with complex grids of symbols. His masterwork, the Z340 cipher, baffled the FBI for decades. Even when codebreakers finally cracked it in 2020, the message contained no confession. Instead, it held only a chilling assertion. I am not afraid of the gas chamber, because it will send me to paradise all the sooner. The killer was laughing at the world, knowing he remained untouchable. How does a man speak this much, write this much, and never get caught? It is the great contradiction of the case. In the late 1960s, DNA profiling did not exist. The hunt has completely shifted from the asphalt to the laboratory. Using next-generation sequencing, scientists are attempting to pull microscopic, severely degraded saliva cells from beneath the glue of the stamps he licked 50 years ago. Through genetic genealogy, investigators are mapping public databases, building massive family trees to trace the Zodiac's bloodline down to his living descendants. But they are running against a dying clock. The evidence is disintegrating, and the prime suspects are already in the grave. We have moved from simple fingerprinting to the microscopic complexity of DNA profiling. After 25,000 suspects, the case remains an open, agonizing labyrinth. The files sit in storage, a monument to the limitations of an era. Prime targets like Arthur Lee Allen were scrutinized for decades. but the hard, undeniable forensic proof vanished into thin air. The reality is that the Zodiac created a monster that outlived his own biological life. He successfully stepped back into the dark. Somewhere in a dusty police file, his real name remains invisible, sleeping in the shadows.